listeners, Cara here from leolistening.com, where I bring together adventurous expats and intrepid travellers to watch and discuss movies in English so they can better understand native speakers, themselves, and the world around them. So today I'm answering a common question, which is, can I learn English with Netflix? And if so, how do I do it? Well, the good news is that you can learn English with anything, including Netflix, because if you want to improve your English, the number one thing that you need is daily contact with the language, and it doesn't really matter how so much as actually doing it. So you could listen to podcasts, watch Netflix, read books, whatever it is that keeps you coming back every day for more English. So if you do that, then you're already 10 steps or maybe even 100 steps ahead of the people who show up at class once a week expecting the teacher to get the language into their brain, because language learning unfortunately doesn't work like that. So yes, you can learn and improve your English with Netflix for sure, but if you've tried to do this, then you know it can be frustrating because the actors speak fast and they use words and cultural references that you don't know. So what can you do to learn English with movies, especially on streaming platforms like Netflix, without just putting on the subtitles and spending the episode reading the subtitles and not actually immersing yourself in the TV series or movie, which is what you came to do? So here are 6 steps to learn English with Netflix. Number 1, this is so important, this is why we're starting here, is choose the right movie or TV series on Netflix for you. So I really hate telling people which movie or TV series to watch in English because I don't know. I don't know what your level is, I don't know what type of show you like to watch, and I don't know why you're learning English. So that's why I prefer to give you reflection questions so you can decide which movie or TV series is right for you. You also need to be willing to experiment with different TV series and movies when you log into Netflix or any other streaming platform. So you can browse according to genre. So that's a good place to start. Also, consider your English learning goals and needs. So if you want to understand a particular type of English, maybe you can find a show that can help you with that, like a hospital drama or a detective series. At the same time, be mindful of your English level. So if you're watching Peaky Blinders and the accents are too hard, be kind to yourself and choose something easier. You'll find plenty of series with contemporary British English that will be useful for you, probably more useful than that series. And also consider your interests. So you don't have to follow the crowd and watch The Crown if you have no interest in the British monarchy. I certainly don't. Also, if you don't like costume dramas, then you don't have to watch Bridgerton. You have full permission instead to follow your interests and your preferences. And the big bonus of using Netflix or any other streaming service is that the algorithm will suggest movies and shows for you based on your viewing history, and that's probably the best way to get suggestions of what to watch. Number 2, if you want to learn English on Netflix, don't just watch. So there's a big difference between watching Netflix in your native language and watching it in English. In your native language, you can just come home, switch on the TV, lie on the couch, and you don't really have to do anything to understand. You don't even have to really pay much attention. But in English, just watching the series or movie is not enough. So for starters, you're not going to understand much if you do that. And secondly, you want to learn English with Netflix, right? That's why we're here. So that does require a little bit of effort. This doesn't have to be scary. You can just do some small things that help you prepare for watching a TV series in English on Netflix, such as reading a summary of the show before you watch or reading a review. You can also watch the trailer, and doing this will just help you understand some basics about the show, like where and when it takes place, what are the names of the main characters, etc. You can also use subtitles to support your viewing for sure, but be flexible about this. You don't need to have them all the time. You could leave them off until you get to a difficult scene, or you could experiment by switching them off for 5 minutes and then switching them back on again. Number 3, have a notebook by your side as you watch Netflix in English. So having a notebook with you when you're watching Netflix will help you break any passive listening habits. So you can use this notebook to write down new words and expressions that you notice and that you want to learn from whatever you're watching. So you don't need all of the new words, just pick the ones that you think you would use, that you think you could use in your speaking or your writing after watching. It's not useful to fill a notebook with hundreds of words that you'll never use. So maybe aim to learn a particular number of words so that you don't go crazy, words or expressions. So maybe 3 in a TV show episode or 5 to 7 in a movie, just because it's longer. Okay, so that's words, notebooks. Number 4, talk in English about what you're watching on Netflix. So you've learned some new words and phrases and now you need to use them. So what you can do is find someone to talk about what you're watching on Netflix with. So this could be a fellow student or a teacher who is also watching the same things on Netflix. So for more about this technique and organizing this kind of exchange with someone, check out the interview I did with Anne-Marie from Speak Confident English about finding a podcast partner. So the great thing about this tactic is it means that you're using what you've learned in the episode in real life when speaking or writing. So this is how you can use Netflix to really learn English. If you'd prefer to work on your writing skills rather than speaking, then you can find online forums where people are discussing particular Netflix shows. So this could be Facebook groups or website forums like Reddit or other specialist sites where people discuss movies. Okay, number 5. So understand fast spoken English so you can get rid of the subtitles. So one problem that everybody has when they try to learn English on Netflix is not understanding what people are saying because they speak too fast. So it's true that movies and TV shows can be hard to understand, sometimes harder than real life, but at least when you watch Netflix, you can switch the subtitles on. The problem is though, in real life, people don't come with subtitles. So what can you do? Well, you need to figure out and learn how people talk when they're talking fast. So my top technique for learning how to understand fast talking native speakers is doing dictations. So you can easily add this listening and writing technique to your Netflix viewing routine. So after you've watched something, you can go back to a scene that you found difficult and try to write what you hear. Use a short section, just a few seconds is enough. Don't do a minute of speech or anything, you'll be there all day. And then once you're done, check your work with the subtitles. I've got plenty of blog posts and videos all about this technique, how to do it and why it works. So check those out, they'll be in the description or on the screen somewhere. Okay, tip number 6, this is very Netflix specific. It's use a browser extension. So you can find several, in fact, browser extensions, mostly for Chrome, that help language learners who want to learn not only English, but well, usually English or other languages on Netflix. So the most famous one is Language Learning with Netflix, which adds some cool tools to your viewing experience. So you can see subtitles in 2 languages, so you can then compare the original with your language. You can also listen to subtitles one at a time and change the playback speed, although for many reasons I advise against listening to slow audio in English, but at least it gives you that option. And then there's also a pop-up dictionary, and the extension also suggests the most important words for you to learn. So that could be really useful for vocabulary building, especially if you're not sure, oh my god, which ones should I learn? Let the extension pick, and then worry about it later if they're useful or not. And you can also put it in pro mode, and that actually lets you save words and phrases. So in that case, you wouldn't need the notebook kind of next to you to write in. It would all be saved in the extension. So that's some pretty cool stuff to make your life easier. So to wrap up, if you want to learn English on Netflix, you need to do something. So watching movies and TV series in English on Netflix is great. It's a good start, but it won't teach you the language because the only person who can learn the language is you. And whether or not you learn depends a lot on what you do. So not which teacher you have or which tool or resource or method you use. the most magical method in the world, if it existed, won't do anything if you don't apply it and you don't use it. So if you want to learn English with Netflix, now you know what to do. So the idea of immersion is tempting, but you can't just sit there and magically absorb English. You need to become an active viewer and listener who takes responsibility for choosing the right show for you and then using it to improve your vocabulary and your listening skills and more. And if you really want to learn English on Netflix, then you need to get out there and start applying what you've learned. So learning with the rich context of a TV series or movie is great, but if you never use the language, then you're just going to forget it. So get out there, find other people to talk about the shows with, whether that's online or in person. Speak, write, use what you've learned. Okay, so tell me in the comments then, what are your favourite Netflix TV shows or movies? What do you do to help yourself learn English with Netflix? And now that you've seen this video, is there anything you're going to stop doing or start doing? Please leave a comment and let me know. If you've enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, share, do all the things. Check out the other links in the description, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.